You are standing in your backyard. It is June. The air is thick, not with heat, with sound. A high-pitched whine circling your left ear, then your right. You slap your arm. Nothing. You slap your neck. Too late. The welt is already rising. In 2024, the Centers for Disease Control reported over 2,400 cases of mosquito-borne illness in the United States. West Nile, Eastern equine encephalitis, dengue. Names that did not belong in this country a generation ago. They are here now, and the pest control industry knows it. The average American household spends between $300 and $700 per season on professional mosquito treatments. Chemical fogging. Synthetic pyrethroids sprayed across your lawn, your garden, your children's play area. Chemicals that carry warning labels long enough to fill a page. The question is not whether mosquitoes are dangerous. They are the deadliest animal on Earth, responsible for over 700,000 human deaths worldwide every single year. The question is whether you can eliminate them from your yard without poisoning the soil your grandchildren will play on. You can. And the answer has been sitting in your kitchen cabinet for longer than you have been alive. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you is not a theory. It is not a folk remedy passed down with no evidence behind it. There is a professional product, sold in hardware stores across America, that contains almost exactly the formulation I am going to give you. Same ingredients, same mechanism, same results. The only difference is the price. The professional version costs between $80 and $120 per gallon. The version I will show you costs less than $4 per application. And here is the number that matters. A 4-gallon batch of this spray covers up to 1 full acre of property. It kills mosquitoes on contact. It repels new mosquitoes for up to 4 weeks. And every single ingredient is safe enough to use around vegetables, pets, and children. 3 ingredients, 1 sprayer, 1 afternoon, 1 yard reclaimed. Let us begin. The first ingredient is garlic, not fresh garlic, not garlic oil. Granulated garlic powder, the kind that sits in a shaker bottle next to your stove. 1 cup of granulated garlic powder per 4 gallons of water. That is the ratio. If you are mixing a single gallon, use 1/4 cup. If you are mixing 2 gallons, use half a cup. The math is simple. The stronger the garlic, the better the result. Now, you may be skeptical. Garlic sounds like something out of an old wives' tale. It is not. In 2019, a study published in the Journal of Vector Ecology tested garlic-based solutions against 5 common mosquito species. The results were definitive. Garlic extract killed over 90% of exposed mosquitoes within 24 hours of direct contact. And the residual effect, the repelling effect, lasted up to 14 days on treated surfaces. Here is why it works. Garlic contains a compound called allicin. Allicin is the same sulfur-based molecule that gives garlic its smell. When a mosquito comes into contact with allicin, it attacks the insect's nervous system. The mosquito loses coordination. It cannot fly. It cannot feed. And within hours, it dies. The sulfur compounds also linger on leaf surfaces, creating a barrier that new mosquitoes will not cross. They smell it. They turn. They leave. Mosquitoes have an olfactory system that is roughly 10,000 times more sensitive than a human nose. A scent you barely notice after the spray dries is, to a mosquito, a wall of fire. They will not enter a treated area, not because they are confused, because their biology tells them to stay away. The second ingredient is citric acid, 1 tablespoon per 2 gallons of water. If you are mixing 4 gallons, use 2 tablespoons. Citric acid is a natural compound found in citrus fruits. You can buy a full pound of food-grade citric acid for under $8 at any grocery store in America. It will last you an entire season. Citric acid does two things. First, it lowers the pH of the solution, which makes the garlic compounds more stable and more effective. Second, citric acid is itself a natural mosquito repellent. A 2017 study from the Department of Entomology at Louisiana State University found that citric acid solutions reduced mosquito landing rates by over 60% in treated zones. The mosquitoes were not killed by the citric acid alone, but they refused to land on surfaces treated with it. So you have a killer, and you have a repellent. Together, they do what no candle, no coil, and no wristband can do. They clear the yard, and they keep it clear. The third ingredient is the one most people skip, and it is the one that makes everything else work. Castile soap, 1 tablespoon per 4 gallons. Castile soap is an all-natural vegetable oil-based soap. No synthetic detergents, no chemical surfactants. You can buy a 32-ounce bottle of liquid Castile soap for about $6. That bottle will give you over 30 applications. Here is why the soap matters. When you spray a garlic and citric acid solution onto a leaf, most of it runs off. It beads up. It drips to the ground. The mosquitoes never touch it. Castile soap acts as what gardeners call a sticker spreader. It breaks the surface tension of the water. It allows the solution to coat the leaf evenly, to stick to the surface, and to remain there for weeks. Without the soap, your spray lasts maybe 3 to 5 days before rain and dew wash it away. With the soap, it holds for up to 4 weeks, sometimes longer. 3 ingredients: garlic, citric acid, Castile soap. Items that have existed in American kitchens for over 150 years. And a professional pest control industry that charges you $500 a season to spray something that is, at its core, the same formulation. Let me prove it to you. There is a product called Mosquito Barrier. It is sold online and in hardware stores. A 1-gallon jug costs approximately $84 plus shipping. The active ingredients printed on the label are garlic juice and citric acid. That is it. Garlic juice and citric acid. The same 2 ingredients I just gave you. The only other ingredient listed is potassium sorbate, which is a preservative used to extend shelf life. It has no effect on mosquitoes. It is there so the product can sit on a store shelf for 2 years without fermenting. You are paying $84 for garlic and citric acid in a bottle with a label on it. The homemade version costs you $3.50 per application. 1 cup of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of citric acid, 1 tablespoon of Castile soap, 4 gallons of water. That is the entire recipe. And it works. Now, let us talk about application, because mixing the solution is only half the battle. Knowing where to spray and where not to spray is what separates a yard that stays mosquito-free from a yard that gets reinfested in 3 days. Mosquitoes are low flyers. They operate in a zone that extends from ground level to approximately 20 feet. But the vast majority, over 80% according to entomological surveys, stay below 10 feet. They hide in ornamental grasses. They rest on the undersides of leaves. They congregate in shrubs, hedges, and along the bark of trees close to the ground. They are not in the middle of your lawn. They are on the edges, in the shadows, in the damp, still pockets where air does not move. When you spray, focus on these areas: the base of trees, up to about 8 to 10 feet on the trunk, the undersides of shrub leaves, ornamental grasses, fence lines where vegetation grows thick, the perimeter of your property where woods or tall grass meet your maintained lawn. These are mosquito highways. Spray them, and you cut off the routes mosquitoes use to enter your yard. Do not spray open flowers. Do not spray vegetables that are in bloom. This is critical. The garlic solution will not harm bees on contact, but it will repel them. And you need your pollinators. If you spray your blooming tomato plants, your squash flowers, your cucumber blossoms, the bees will avoid that area. Your pollination drops. Your harvest drops. Spray the walkways around your vegetable garden. Spray the perimeter. But don't spray the flowers themselves. Around your vegetable garden, spray the pathways, the gravel borders, and any ornamental plants that do not require pollination. This creates a mosquito-free zone around the garden without interfering with the bees that your vegetables depend on. The sprayer you use matters. You do not need a $900 professional fogging machine. A standard 4-gallon backpack sprayer will do the job. You can buy a battery-powered backpack sprayer for between $80 and $150 at any hardware store in America. It will give you a reach of 12 to 15 feet, which is more than enough to hit the key zones where mosquitoes hide. If you have a smaller property, a patio, or a townhouse yard, a 1-gallon handheld pump sprayer will work. It will not cover as much ground, but for a 500-square-foot patio area surrounded by potted plants, it is sufficient. One rule: do not spray on a windy day. Even though this solution is non-toxic, breathing atomized garlic powder into your sinuses is not pleasant. Imagine taking a deep breath of the strongest garlic powder in your kitchen. That is what it feels like. Choose a calm morning or a still evening. Wear a basic dust mask if you are sensitive. Keep the wind at your back. Spray away from your face. After mixing, let the solution sit for at least 15 minutes before spraying. The garlic powder needs time to dissolve completely in warm water. If you use cold water, it will not dissolve properly, and the undissolved granules will clog your sprayer. Use lukewarm or warm water. Stir it. Let it sit. If you want the strongest possible solution, mix it the night before and let it steep overnight. The longer it sits, the more allicin is released into the water. One application lasts up to 4 weeks. Heavy rain will shorten that window. If you get 2 inches of rain in a single storm, plan to reapply within 48 hours. But under normal conditions, 1 spray per month is enough to keep your yard clear. Now, there is one more piece, and it is the piece most people ignore. Killing adult mosquitoes is only half the battle. If you do not address the breeding sites, new mosquitoes will emerge every 7 to 10 days and repopulate your yard faster than you can spray it. Mosquitoes need standing water to breed. A bottle cap full of water is enough. A clogged gutter, a flower pot saucer, a tarp folded over a piece of firewood, a children's toy left in the yard. Anything that holds water for more than 5 days is a potential mosquito nursery. A single female mosquito lays between 100 and 300 eggs at a time. She can lay eggs every 3 days. Do the math. 1 female becomes 300. Those 300 become 90,000 in 2 weeks. This is why fogging alone never works. You kill the adults today, and the larvae in your gutters hatch tomorrow. Walk your property. Empty every container. Turn over buckets. Clean your gutters. Fill in low spots in your lawn where water pools. If you have a bird bath, change the water twice a week. If you have a pond or a water feature that cannot be emptied, use mosquito dunks. Mosquito dunks contain a bacterium called BTI, Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis. BTI is naturally occurring. It is non-toxic to humans, pets, birds, fish, and bees. But it is lethal to mosquito larvae. 1 dunk treats up to 100 square feet of water for 30 days. A pack of 6 dunks costs about $16. Drop 1 in your pond, your rain barrel, your bird bath, and any standing water you cannot eliminate. The larvae ingest the bacterium and die before they ever become flying adults. This is the system. The spray kills the adults. The dunks kill the larvae. The elimination of standing water removes the breeding grounds. 3 steps. 1 result. A yard you can walk through at dusk without a single bite. And here is what the pest control companies do not want you to know. Their subscription spray programs, the ones that cost $50 to $90 per visit every 3 weeks, from May through September, use the same approach. They spray a garlic-based or pyrethroid-based solution on your foliage. They treat standing water with BTI. They tell you to empty your containers. You are paying between $400 and $700 per season for a service you can perform yourself for under $60 total. $60. 1 season. 1 acre of coverage. 0 chemicals in your soil. 0 risk to your children. 0 risk to your pets. 0 risk to the bees that pollinate the food you grow. The knowledge was never lost. It was just no longer taught. Your grandmother knew that garlic kept insects away. She hung braids of it in her pantry. She planted it along the edges of her garden. She was not being superstitious. She was being practical. The science simply caught up with what 3 generations of American families already understood. 1 cup of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of citric acid, 1 tablespoon of castile soap, 4 gallons of water, 15 minutes to mix, 1 hour to spray, 4 weeks of protection, 1 recipe, 1 afternoon, 1 yard, given back to the people who actually use it. In the comments below, tell me which of these ingredients does your family already have in the kitchen? Was it your grandmother who told you about garlic, your mother, or did you discover it on your own? I read every comment. The next video covers the 5 plants every homestead should have within 20 feet of the back door. Not for decoration, for medicine. You will not hear that list anywhere else. They stopped teaching this. We will not. Subscribe.